Yeah, we continue our discussion on, let me say, sustainable development, because that is where everything ends. The issue of environmental sustainability. Another has spoken on the given case study of Luna Monkey in Lake Conservation Zone.
Center, yes.
Yeah, center. So we're going to look at and listen to Mary. Mary is going to continue the discussion, throwing it open for everybody's participation and contribution. So let's listen to Mary and see
Okay.
what she has to present.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah.
So to continue this conversation, I'll be talking on the topic that states delicate balance of biodiversity in a changing world. So I want to exploit the environmental changes, the sustainable growth, and the future of our world, our planet. So now we know that biodiversity is a versatile life on Earth, in which is facing, in which we are faced with so many global crisis, as well as the rise in global warming. We talk about deforestation. We talk about ecosystem and disruption of these special interactions as well. So um, this would be an open conversation, but first I want to read some news. I brought down some news in regards to our country and our world. So now we all know this in the recent talk about the Bini and the hailstorm. So we all are this familiar with that aspect, and everybody thought it was, according to the TikTok and the trend, everybody thought it was like we are bringing UK into Lagos, which is also a global warming crisis in which we are not taking much consideration into that. And then we talk about this in the rising temperature of today and Nigeria as a whole for recent time. So lately now, according to the news of CBS, and we are, according to our temperature, potentially we are reaching between 2.9 degrees Celsius and 5.7 degrees Celsius very rapidly. And I'm just going to throw this to the group. This will be another open conversation as to what we think about the our current environmental and our current temperature rise in global economy. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me lead. Let me put mine first so that we take it from there. Is everybody is going to participate in this one. What we think about this, it is actually what we think. But one individual thinks it cannot solve the problem. It has to be a collective, but in a community effort to tackle the problem, because environmental issues, global problems are caused in one location. The effect is in another location. Let me give you an example of the prediction that by the year 2030 there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish. When we look at that, you drink bottled water, throw away, pure water, throw away, this take away small take away plate, all those things end up in the ocean. And going in that prediction, I think Lagos State has come up with a policy that one use plastic is no longer allowed in supermarkets. And then they put total ban on that non-biodegradable plastic. Yeah. And so I don't know, but we still see that bread is still in nylon. And we still see plastic soft drinks, all those things are there. They all end up in the ocean. So the problem is that this continue to dip into the ocean, how do we, in the policy of Lagos State against use of one this plastic, disposable plastics, will it solve the problem? If only Lagos State is approaching it this way, fighting to protect the environment, Ogun State is not doing the same thing, Imo State, Kano State are not doing the same thing. Will that solve the problem? So even when a particular nation is fighting to solve this problem, the other countries are not doing the same, the problem continues to linger. And I read about importation of waste from one European country to Nigeria, that control importation of waste. So is it not the same problem? The same ocean that is here touches is the same. If the waste enters Atlantic Ocean, it can end up in another country. So the problem it will cause, it may originate from here, and the effect is felt in Canada or United States. So in the world coming together, they have a policy on the environment, and some countries do not really key into that. We will continue to generate waste, the e-waste, the battery of our laptops, cell phones. How do we dispose them? All those things, how we're going to handle them, how we're going to really, in practical terms, care about environmental sustainability. Because in business, we think more about profit maximization. For multinational corporations, for them, the business of business is business and not even sustainable development. So they do more. Look at what is happening in Ogoni land. They're going to clean up. How many years is it going to take to clean Ogoni land? And from oil spillage and gas flaring, you see, terrible soil, agricultural soil destroyed, marine life destroyed. And we're still talking about global action. Global action, the important players are the ones mining, drilling, extracting the oil, causing all this oil spillage. And our government continue to being under economic pressure, do what they call rest to the bottom approach to development, whereby you continue to lower your environmental standard to attract multinational corporations. So what can be done is still on the table. What can be done?
What can be done is a good question. But of course, if country A produces dangerous, products which are beneficial to all of us, and the end product, the material used for it are, of course, dangerous. We need to. I think it's our concern because if we're enjoying the products, but the consequent, how to call it, toxics to the environment, it is left to the world body, the United Nations, in fact, to do something more about it. The body is more on the world body, United Nations. That's why we have the United Nations and World Health Organizations, because most countries on their own will hardly react or do something about it. So I think it's more on the bigger nations like China and the US and the United Nations to probably find a way to impose sanctions on countries who are not ready to help to make the environment friendly, or companies that are still dealing with toxic materials. I think we should start with the UN and the World Health Organization. That's my own contribution.
Well, if we leave it for the UN, then nothing might happen. Because the UN is bossed by the Big Five. And outside these Big Five, some countries like China have also become very big, such that even the Big Five cannot oppress or suppress them. India is coming on the way. So for me, I think there are two ways we can go about it, or three ways. First way is that we keep making the noise and keep reminding UN and continental bodies and regional bodies, the UN, the AU, ECOWAS, and other regional bodies and sub-regional bodies of the need for eco coexistence, the maintenance and sustainability of biodiversity. That's one. Two is that the country that is serious about eco coexistence and sustainability of biodiversity should call its intelligentsias through her schools, tertiary institutions, from primary, secondary to tertiary institutions. The debate should go on. And the target should be, how do we promote eco coexistence, sustainability of biodiversity in our country? And so if we do that, we define our biodiversity, land, sea, air, and then we develop ways of making sure we protect our environment holistically by bringing out policies that we promote attitude, mentality of eco coexistence. And as we are talking about this here, we will think that we are the only one that are talking about. If you go to Rwanda, some of these things are already in place. For instance, you hardly go to any Rwanda shop or open market and see things still in nylon. They use paper bags that can decompose, those things that can decompose with nature faster. They don't use cellophanes and all this, except for water that they are still thinking about how to go about it. You discover that which is the third aspect, I will bring that up, the third aspect. So let me even remain at the human aspect. They now brought up their Africanness, going back to our foundation. Why is it that our forefathers were able to maintain evil forests? Was it that they just used superstition? No, there were laws. If you go and study the society, traditional communities, discover that they had laws maintaining the evil forest. There were those who patronized the evil forest, the Dibias, the Babalawos, the Onisheguns. They patronized the evil forest. That's where they went to collect barks, leaves with potency. They went there, but even at that, before you go, there is a hierarchy of consultations you have to make. Approval will be given. Yes, approval will be given in case of species of trees that are not rampant. They give you periods you can go and get their barks. The portion you must get, you cannot get beyond certain. When you bring it, they will investigate. You bring it to the table of a panel of elders. They look at it and say, okay, go and do what you want to do. They have their own way of doing it. They are passing blessings, but that is a way of monitoring things. Today we look at most of what they did as stupid. So there's a quantity you take even from the tree bark, and there's a period that tree must be left to recuperate before we go and get another bark. And for instance, among the Yorubas, there's this banana that is reddish at the back when it's ripe. When you open it, it's greenish inside. It's not rampant. So how do they preserve it? They say, Ishu Ogedeni, Ogede Ishu. They say it belongs to Satan. And but you know, Satan in Yoruba is not Satan. It's a messenger. Now, but why do they call it Ogede issue? So that people will just say, they don't want issue problem. But who are those who patronize, who used it? It was used for medicinal purposes. And because they wanted that naturalness, they didn't want to replicate it. So they had their own laws. So what Rwanda did was to go back to their Asian culture and then modify the traditional morals and codes and mores, and now modify it, discuss it, make it state policy. So if you go to Rwanda, for instance, if you go to Broad Street, Marina, Lagos, you go to Lekki, you see that we want to build everything to be skyscrapers. We want to make everything like Holland, like England, like China. We don't want to leave anything for poor man. If you go to Rwanda, it's not like that. If you go to Rwanda, you see skyscrapers, and in the middle of it, you see mud houses. But these mud houses are impeccably neat. The state helped them in maintaining that. So you see the beauty. That's even where people go and rest. Go for natural, to get natural things. That's what Rwanda has achieved. Then the third one is that they now promote their traditional culture that encourage eco-coexistence between animals and plants. So there are festivals that they promote, that are traditional festivals that preserve nature. Like we have Ehejoko, Ajoko, Urishoko. They celebrate such festivals, and the contemporary relevance of such festivals to our issue of sustainability of biodiversity is emphasized. So if we are looking for solutions to these things, they are in our culture. They are not abroad. They are in our culture, but because we think we are well read, we are professors, we've gone to school. So we are looking at those once as illiterate, not knowing that education is not about literacy, it's about knowledge of nature. And those people you call Babalawo and Onishegun, they have a comprehensive knowledge of nature more than you are now in university. If not, why are we afraid that if we touch them, we will vanish? That means they have superior knowledge than us. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. And then coming to that wisdom, say we need to manage our knowledge. And I don't know whether there's any other person that want to make contribution. We're looking at how to preserve the environment for good of all creation, for good of nature. We look at there's one in Benin Republic, Prof, and Songhai Farm. I think we need to pay a visit to that Songhai and Port Novo. That is a pure ecosystem. Yeah. Need to look at that. And what we are saying is that we're not just having interaction for interaction's sake. We're going to be advocates of environmental sustainability. And when we are, we move about to continue to preach the good news of environmental sustainability.
Sorry, sir, but what you just said now, let's think of a proposal now to some companies that will sponsor it. Now, if you're going to do it in November, start now.
Yeah, we're going to. That's why I'm bringing this two ladies that are environmental activists. So we want to listen together and see what we can come up with.
One more thing. As well as we policies have made to the government in regards to the plastic and standalone and this in pollutants and everything going on with the plastic. We should also look into making a policy not just for the government but also policy to the manufacturers of this plastic, because we are actually, I would call us the victim of circumstance, because the production of plastic in regards to biodegradable plastic, I'm sure they'll want to pick the cheaper version in regards to the biodegradable plastic and everything. So how about it's more like a suggestion? The government should create a policy to the manufacturers that are manufacturing those plastic and causing waste on into our ecosystem, because in Nigeria everything, even this bottle is made of plastic. Basically what we use are plastic, and that's all I'm saying, that a point should be taken, that a suggestion should be sent to the government to impose a law or a policy against the production of plastic for the manufacturers. That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
But when we are the my we ate, they used to leave, not live to wrap it. When people thought they were modernized and they're using nylon. And when you cook this mama with nylon, chemicals enter into this mama, and it will no longer, the taste is also different. But you see, the one in native leaf it tastes different, and then it's more organic than the one in plastic.